Hello everyone, welcome to Open Captions on Spring Nectar TV with me, Kavipriya. This is our episode 2 in conversation with Mala Raj. Last week we learned about Mala's early life, the influences she had, and how she had that turning point, that transformation. We also learned about her first job, how to know one's worth, and how to ask for it. We also talked about her true passion, media, and how she was offered a movie role with an iconic superstar. We're going to find out who that is in just a minute. This week, we talk about how to face one's fears, how to learn from your mistakes, or even better, how to avoid them. When life throws stones at you, how to take it with a smile. Solve, find a solution. It was a very interesting conversation and I completely loved it. Please welcome Mala Raj. Hi Mala.
Hello Kavipriya.
As a woman in business, right, you would have had so many challenges, but do you specifically recall, or if you can share any bias or assumptions that were made about you? You know, they made some assumptions and bias, and how did you handle them? Because a lot of women go through that, even now in 2021, and it's here to stay until we change that slowly but steadily. So if you can share some of those things, maybe. Yeah.
It's been a tough journey, but only if you think it's a tough journey. I keep saying repeatedly, it's a beautiful journey.
Yeah, very positive.
Tough as it may be, challenges constantly keep coming. But if you can face it head on, no matter what it is.
Right.
And I've never looked at, a lot of people say success comes from mistakes. True. Only if you think you've made mistakes constantly, do you know or believe they are mistakes. But if you're able to weigh the pros and cons and take the right call constantly, it's not like you don't make mistakes, but if you can avoid those mistakes in the journey of your life, then the very toughest moment can be made easy, and it is how you perceive it. One of the reasons that no matter how tough life throws stones at you, I take it with a smile. And like my father often said, solve, find a solution. Don't crib, don't come with excuses in life, but find a solution for it. So in my entire life, I've taken that attitude of solving things and resolving the problems. But life is not about that. It doesn't come with problems, right? My passion has always been to go into the media world. I was even offered to act in a beautiful movie.
Right.
Probably the movie would have been a success, maybe if I was in it. But I was asked to act with an iconic actor today, Mr. Rajinikanth.
Yes.
And if I may share that,
he's a superstar, by the way. Everybody in India knows him, but he is the biggest superstar. Yes, and we're all like by default fans to Rajinikanth.
And it was very interesting, story to share.
Right.
I was studying in Loyola College, and one day I was waiting for my driver to pick me up, my chauffeur, and he hadn't come. So I was waiting, and obviously someone had passed by. He's a producer, director, I'm not too sure, but his name is Bhardi Raja. And he happened to go inside the college and happened to talk to the dean of the college, Mr. Munnaswamy. And he said, I happened to see a girl standing outside, a very tall, pretty looking, and he described my attire, I suppose. And he wanted my number and address. And the college said, no, we can't. It wouldn't be right because, she comes from a very big family and we can't, it would bring trouble upon the institution. he said, don't worry about it. And he somehow took all the details. And next day they came home with Mr. Sivakumar. And so they were very particular about casting me in this movie called Kodi Parakkirathu, cast against the iconic actor, Mr. Rajnikant. But there were reasons why I chose not to go into the field of acting. All this, offers were there, but there were a couple of reasons I decided not to, because, my father and my brother, they both sat me down, and I wanted to hear what their take was on me going into the media world or the entertainment world. And my brother said two important things. My father always said, we'll give you all the advice you want, but you'll have to weigh the pros and cons and take the call in life. And my brother said two important things, which stuck in my head, and one of the main reasons I took a call otherwise. He said, Mala, you're a very, very sensitive person.
Yes.
They would write in the gossip columns, gossip and all, and things that are probably not true, and things that have not happened. And I do not believe you can take all of that, because I would hate to see the joy and the happiness in your life be lost. And that will affect you. And the other important thing he said is, even more touching, was, you can go in this line, but it seems so emotional even when I say, my father said, when you want to get married, things can be very different. Whether you're in it, you might get good offers, may not. So these were the kind of advices.
I was thinking it's logical. Yeah.
Yeah, very logical advices. And I took a call, and I said, it was truly my decision. And I said, maybe this is not the field for me. And, I am a very emotional person, very sensitive human being. And, my life would not have been mine to control. So I took a decision otherwise. And, there was an offer when I was working in my first company. There was a gentleman who happened to spot me, and he said, Mala, you're finished your master's. Here you are. You're wanting to go to US to do your MBA. You can currently be a perennial student, or you can take the offer that I'm going to give you. And that was the offer where he said, I would like you to go to London, start a company, build it from scratch, and set up the organization for me, whole of Europe. And I was all of 21 years old. So I did ask him the question, why me? And what do you see in me? He said, you're a very, very smart woman. And I think you would make a great marketeer for the organization. So, and I said, it's very challenging to start a company all by myself in a new country, recruit people, and establish everything. He said, I'll give you 6 months training in the production plant and in the organization, which was in Kerala and in Cochin. And I did go ahead, take all the training I needed. I'm a quick learner and a sharp learner. So in 3 months, I was done, and I flew to London, took up the challenge. And that was a whole nother subject to talk about. But that's how I began my career.
Oh, yeah. It's a fantastic story as well. And, how you made your choice. You had your head on your shoulders and you knew where you wanted to go. Just touching on that, a lot of women especially, right, very talented, ambitious, and even proven their worth, they constantly suffer from self-doubt. Can I do it? Am I good enough? And I think it gets harder when they see a few setbacks, a few failures. What kind of advice would you give or knowledge you would share when, especially women who struggle, who are good enough but don't feel good enough and suffer from self-doubt?
My experience by itself would be the greatest advice to women. Um, I have been emboldened and to be powerful from a very young age. Because I remember, be it school, I studied in a co-ed, and even if boys are being bullied, I would voice it for them. Wherever I saw, be it women or boys, didn't matter. I would stand up for them. I have been rare to be a very tough person. It's not that I have not had my moments of fear.
Right.
I still remember I was going from Ealing in London. I was traveling from one place to 45 minutes away destination, and I had to get off, and I was standing in a station waiting for the train to come. And I still remember there were about 5-6 men who looked. They weren't dressed in the best of attire. They were quite scary. And I turned around and looked, and there was no one else. And all of a sudden, they came and asked me for what the time is. And I did tell them what the time is. And they were, taunting and all kinds of words coming out of their mouth because I was a minority, and they talked about my hair and all of it. And all of a sudden, when they saw the train come, they literally pushed me towards the train. I'm like, I least expected that. I mean, if I had slipped, I would have literally gone to the rails. But I, for a moment, took charge in my mind, and I said, something is not right. I have to turn and stand up. Trust me, 4 or 5 people, strong men with all kinds of metal attire. They were called punks, and they were scary to look. And I saw no one else because it was in the afternoon at about 3:30 p.m. It wasn't even late night.
Right.
I still remember turning around and trying to tell them, what is it that they want? And, why are they doing this? So I kind of turned around and I stood and I talked to them. Then I realized that made a difference. They backed off when I turned around. One thing I realized that day was when someone pushes you and you keep going further away from them, then they tend to push you more. But if you turn around and look at them, defend for yourself, whether you can defend yourself against 5 men is relatively a bigger question. But the fact that I turned around and I looked at their eyes and I questioned them, then they backed off. I saw each of them take 2 steps back. Then I went 2 steps forward and I started to talk to them. And by end of the conversation, Kavipriya, you wouldn't believe, 2 of them turned around and said, we are sorry. It is what I was able to reason out with those unreasonable men. But I think by end of the conversation, sometimes people don't have the moment to have a conversation. Some do. But if you're able to turn and take that step, then that is remarkable.
Like facing your fears, like turning your fear into courage. So turning around, face your fears, take the courage and take those steps in front and reason it out. So beautifully said, Mala. Thank you so much. When we are talking about these different stages of life, we have to talk about this remarkable, amazing person. I heard from your sister and your brother, sister-in-law as well, your wonderful husband, Raj. He has been that pillar, someone who just, further kind of, you took off, you could say, after your marriage. And that partnership has been so strengthening. A lot of women have fantastic marriage, husbands, but also some of them might lose their individuality, their personality. There's a big change. In your case, you could even think like such a powerful woman. Any room you walked in, Mala, I've seen you get all the attention. You get all the attention. It's just your personality, not that you're hogging for the limelight. You just talk. And for some, it could be intimidating. And some could feel like left out and just, they could go into a dark spot or a corner. But your husband, Raj, has been almost empowering you, always, encouraged you, and he's taken to a different level. And I talked to him as well, and he said, I asked him, tell us something about Mala, what you really love. And so many, I'm sure, but what he shared is, you've always still been the same person, the person who loves people. And we will cover that, right? We talk about the businesswoman, the little girl, the young, beautiful Miss Madras. He said, you've always been the person who puts people first. But Raj has been such a great influence. Marriage is, people who choose to marriage, it needs to be a power, a strength. So tell us a little bit about that and how that relationship has helped you.
I continue saying my life has been amazing. Before marriage, it was my father and my elder brother. And after marriage, see, that is the life-changing act for any woman when they get married. And mine was an arranged marriage. And let me tell you, it seems like I just got off the honeymoon yesterday. So that's how I feel. And this is after 30 years of marriage.
He pampers you.
That should speak volumes of what an amazing person I'm married to in Raj. Raj continued to keep me smiling just the way I was before marriage. And nothing has changed. On the contrary, Raj is someone who's continued to embolden me, just like my father. He has a mindset just like my father. When it comes to a simple thing like taxes, Raj would always say, we rather pay more to the IRS, and end of the year, it's nice when IRS returns the money to us. It's like a savings. So a man who was very meticulous about life. And, I live in awe of the man I married, very fortunate. And I've always been in life that you need to have that certain edge of lady luck. And I think I've been blessed truly with plenty of that. And I also make sure that luck is the way life is. Like I said, if any troubles come my way, I just turn around and I don't look at it as it's trouble, it's problem. So Raj has always supported me. I mean, I could have been married and life could have been very different, but don't go here, don't travel, especially if you had a child. It's important, how are you going to manage business, travel around the globe all the time, and take care of a child? No, not a single day did we have that conversation. On the contrary, it was like the journey went on. We did everything together. Raj has been iconic in my life, an amazing man. He's a great manager at work, and the kind of opportunities he gives women. He has this very wonderful quality of always making the other person be in the limelight, although he will do all of what it takes to do in the back screen. But he's my greatest support and confidant.
Yeah, beautifully said. Kind of you answered my next question itself. Like, women do struggle to balance, the family life and the professional life. But when you said a conscious decision was made, you probably have a very good open communication and very supportive to each other. And you consciously take the step to make those moments matter. Your son also had the same thing to say, that you're always there for all the important occasions and time needed. Never felt like missing out, or mom is not there, dad is not there. That's very fantastic. So the key is consciously working towards it and making those moments count, I believe.
A wonderful point you mentioned, Kavipriya.
Mm.
Conversation and communication. You
Mm.
know, my father emphasized on the fact,
Mm.
talk,
Mm.
discuss,
Yeah.
listen, take advice. And he communicated very often. My
Mm.
mom and dad had a very beautiful, happy life.
Mm.
And the same thing translated after I got married.
Mm.
Raj is a person, if you said who speaks the most, then you know the answer already. But
Yes.
even in the silence, there's so much communication.
Mm.
There are times we would sit in a party and we want to communicate something. Literally, our eyes would do it.
Mm.
But communication has been the a key element of our happiness, I would say.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
much I have taught Vinay one
Mm.
thing when he
Mm.
went to college. You
Mm.
know, kids these days have a tendency to get into bad habits. You know, you
Mm.
do have to face it. It's
Mm.
not that you shouldn't have the conversation, but you should.
Mm.
Drugs and all of that.
Mm.
And I told Vinay when he went away to UMass, East Coast to Boston, Massachusetts, I said, Vinay, there's only one thing I ask you.
Mm.
Um, Anytime, take that phone and have that conversation with us. Talk to us.
Mm.
And I told him, I have a ring, a circle of confidence. So if you enter that circle, so in the family, we have this understanding. If
Mm.
you enter into the circle, you can literally tell anything and everything. You can even say, if you've made a big mistake, then
Mm.
confess in that circle. And once you come out of that circle, that subject will not be spoken about to hurt you, but we can talk about that subject if we can improve and if it make a difference in your life.
Mm.
So that circle of confidence we have built, and when I always would jump into that circle of confidence and say, Mom, yes, I did, and this is what happened. Yes, I had alcohol and things like that. He was a very young student when he went into college. Very young, he got into school as well. So you know, he shouldn't be drinking because he was only about 15 years old and 14, I think. So, but he would always get into that circle and he would communicate. And I have taught him the key essence of communication. So it's a very beautiful point that you brought about. If children can communicate with their parents, you know, it can eliminate so much of problems and troubles. It is when you do not communicate that much of the problems continue to be there in your life.
Yeah, courage and communication. You can say that about Mala and your family for sure. Yeah. And you know, another beautiful thing, and again, just talking about projects, a lot of important and lovely things. I myself personally learned like I should do these things better. Raj even mentioned again, going back to the people side of you, right? The business side of you and the people side of both of you. When the both of you commit to go to a person's house or a party or anything, you are fully there. You know, it's not like touch and go. Okay, we're here. I've got to go to another party. A lot of us are guilty of doing that, or even going late, just jumping. If you guys are committed to be there, you will be there the full time. It seems like a small thing, but it's such a detailed, important. The other person, the kind of impression they form, isn't it? It makes a big difference. And that actually, Mala, stood out to me a lot. It spoke to me a lot. Yeah.
It is a very important aspect in our society because today I see people do not have time, and for various reasons, you know, they tend to do what they do, I guess. But Raj and me again made a very conscious decision in how we go about our social schedules. So all the social tabs are taken care by me. So even if somebody called Mr. Raj and said, you know, you're invited for this occasion and so on, they would, he would give them my number and say, please let Mala know. So, you know, he always believed there are certain things, you know, certain people do it so that there isn't confusion. Otherwise, he can commit to something and I can commit to some other social agenda, and there can be a clash. And then what happens is you're not able to go as a couple and attend where you must go as a couple. So I'm able to control that aspect of it. So this way I know who I can give our time, and whoever comes first, of course, gets the schedule, irrespective of the fact whether they're small, big, that's irrelevant to us. But when we go, I always say a lot of our friends are like butterflies, and they come, show their head for a couple of minutes, and they're gone. But I'm one who believes when you go to somebody's house or a particular occasion or a function, you're there from the beginning till the end for only one reason: the amount of trouble they take, the nuances of details that they attend to, welcoming the guest to bidding goodbye, in between, the food, the dance, all of it is organized. And they take literally a lot of pain and trouble to put it together. And if you're just going to show your head and go, and I feel that is not giving respect to the people, your guests, your host, and as guests, where is the respect for ourselves? So we tend to commit ourselves to the people, and we're there from the beginning till the end.
That's something we all should learn, and take notes on that. Addressing people, respecting them, giving them the importance with full energy and positivity. Fantastic. Mala, beautiful life, amazing things. Any regrets in life? Anything like, I wish I've done that. I wish I did this. Any regrets in life? Anything you would do differently?
Wow. It's interesting you're asking this question. Regrets. I'm one who has always told my parents, my husband, my better half, Raj, and my son, and my family one thing: I have zero regrets. And that is coming from deep within my heart when I say this. Literally zero, zilch, no regrets whatsoever. So when I want to do something, I get it done. And if it's in my mind, trust me, it's done. That's it. And fortunately, God has blessed us well to do whatever we want, whenever we want. Life is beautiful. And yes, I have no regrets. Sorry to disappoint you, but I have no regrets.
I'm very happy. And that should be the motto, right? Live a life with no regrets. That should be it. Yes. Beautiful. We're going to go into some fun rapid fire questions.
Wow.
Okay. This is fun. Okay. Questions, but take your time. Let's see. Rapid fire questions. What was your very first job?
Oberoi's.
Your best or most favorite book?
The Last Tycoon. The Last Tycoons.
One thing, if you want to change about yourself, what would that be?
I can get angry. So I should reduce on my anger with my family.
That's the one. Okay, perfect. Best compliment you received all your life, the best compliment.
My father once told me when I got my first job in the US, I'm very proud of you, Mala. I'm very proud.
That's moving.
That was very, very touching.
Very moving, very moving. Okay. If you can go on a celebrity date with anyone, who would that be?
Okay. Wow. I love Michael Douglas. So if I can have one night dance, I would love that. No hard feelings to his gorgeous, beautiful wife, Zita Jones.
There you go. If you can be anyone for a day, who could that be? Who would that be? You can be anyone, just for one day.
I would love to be myself in my own shoes. And if one more life is given, just myself. And I would love to fly like an eagle. And if I had a wand in my hand, I would love to kill poverty. across the world.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. What is your spirit animal?
There are two.
Okay.
One is my fave all-time horses. I love the power of Mustang, the torque muscle power, the way they run and gallop. They're such a beautiful animal. And I love cheetah, especially when it runs at 180 miles. I love it.
Wonderful. Horse is my spirit animal as well, so that's fantastic. If you have to,
So we're sharing a common animal there.
there you go. Now, if you have to eat the same thing every day for the rest of your life, what would that be?
Oh, make it so boring anyway.
I love food. I love food. So
right. My mom used to say, even honey, too much of honey is toxic. So every day, mutton biryani.
Oh, yo.
Who doesn't like mutton biryani, right?
Perfect.
I love mutton biryani.
You've traveled so much, but what is the most favorite vacation place?
Wow, there are so many beautiful places. But I'm going to say Como, Italy.
It's beautiful, I've heard. Okay.
It's amazing. I've been there a couple of times and I love it. We stay at Este de Villa. It's beautiful. Yeah, Como.
There you go. Okay. What inspires you the most? What just inspires you the most? Is it success or wealth or adulation? What could be that one thing that inspires you?
Yeah, it's a very connected answer. I'm driven to make money. I'm very driven to make money. End of the day in business, I have to see it's a profitable day. Because when I make money, I know I can take care of people who really deserve, the needy, who need to be educated. So I love to make the money to turn around and take care of people, deserving people, to give them education. Like they say, it takes a village to make any human being. I often feel that I want to be driven to make a lot of money so that I could educate more people in our village, which we are already doing. So that would be my driven and inspired aspect.
Wow, awesome. Okay. What is something someone has said to you that will stick with you forever? Something someone has said that will always stick with you in your life?
Someone who said something. I'm going to say someone who didn't say much has stuck much in my mind. That is Raj, my better half. Does not speak much, but his silence is such a beauty. I'm going to say the silence has spoken volumes in my life. That would be the most remarkable aspect of my life.
Yeah, it's even hard to comprehend that, to be very honest, but it's so deep and meaningful. Like you
very profound what I just said. Yes.
Yeah, you understand that silence, and that's what sticks with you all your life. That's something. That's a different level. Mala, we know that you founded and you are the chairwoman of Charitable Educational Trust in honor of your beloved parents, Punya Kodi Vedapriya Charitable Trust. I know this is a huge part of your life, a driving factor. Tell us a little bit about your trust.
2008, we started our charitable trust, PVCT, and that is nothing but Punyakoti Vedapriya Charitable Trust. My parents, while they were alive, I wanted to establish a charitable organization. It all started with my father after retirement, when he had gone back to his village near Kanchipuram, a place called Namal. was trying to reminisce his past, the first kindergarten school that he had studied. It was in a very dilapidated condition. He had actually taken my son, Vinay, who was visiting his grandparents, and he wanted to show, as most grandparents do, right? They try to show all the places they studied and so on. So dad took Vinay, and he had mentioned to my son and later to me on the phone call, Mala, one day we must do something to the children of the village of Damal in Kanjivaram, which is a place in down south in Tamil Nadu. Um, it stuck very strongly in my head. I said, sure, Dad. How often when people say, sure, does anything happen, right? But for me, I took it very seriously because it came from Dad. And subsequently, tsunami happened. And that was a life-changing incident for my son, who contributed huge money to the tsunami, to the fishermen, the people there who were hurting, and he helped them towards education. And that struck a chord in my mind. And I remembered what Dad had told me, that we need to do something for the children towards education. Like they say, you can give food and you only feed them for a day, but give them education and you feed them for a life.
Right.
Now, Dad wanted to do something, but sometimes it takes all of the resources, to set up a charitable fund is not easy. And I decided during tsunami that I was going to establish a charitable trust fund in my parents' name. And while they were alive, I did that. It wasn't in my name or Raj's name, which is very often the case when people want to do anything, any cause for charity. But I wanted to do it in my parents' name because it's been a lifetime of dreaming and doing what my dad always wanted us to do. And it gave an opportunity. Thanks to my dad, that was an opportunity for me where we could, take some of our funds and move it towards the charitable organization. A couple of times we went. It was beautiful. The journey has been wonderful. We went to the school where my dad studied, and it was literally in ruins, a dilapidated condition, the building, and the children didn't have uniform and so on. It's a government school. But I went to the government and we spoke to them and said, we want to adopt the school in this village. And also about 100 kilometers away in a place called Balajapet, there are two schools. Balajapet Girls and Boys Higher Secondary School. Girls is one and boys is another school. That is the place where I got married and went into. Raj's great-grandfather hails from Balajapet. So I wanted to do something not only in the name of my parents, but also to respect my in-laws family. My father-in-law is the first PhD to be sent by government of India, Dr. W.G. Govindraman, to send to Manchester, who did his PhD in die casting and contributed for Ford. So I wanted to honor both my in-laws as well as my parents. If I talk so much about my husband, it was important to respect and do something right. The journey started then. And like I said, first few times it felt good when we went and took care of the children. It's first top 12 children we decided to go ahead and sponsor for their college from the school. And we realized that most of them were boys. Talking about women empowerment and inspiration. Let me tell you, I started to go there with my whole family. My sister-in-law, my brother, my sister, all of us were involved in this project. and all of us put our hearts in it. And every time we went, the girls were there, but they would come and tell us, ma'am, this would be my last year in school. And I would ask them, why would you not study further? And they say, my parents can't afford because their parents are goat herders or they're cow herders. And they could ill afford to go ahead and pay for their tuition to study in college. And the mother would come and tell me, she's the only child who's the eldest. She will need to work and earn wages for the family. So she cannot go to college and we can ill afford to send her. Then I said, the girl's problem is enormous and immense. And it was hitting the core of my heart. I've never seen that side of life where girls were hurting. They cannot study because they have to become wage earners for a family, or they have to stop because they have to get married. And if they have to be married, they cannot study. So all of these things changed my life. And I said to myself, I'm going to put in my heart and mind and dedicate, whereby we start encouraging the girls. So we did mentor the students, but more of the girls. And you wouldn't believe, Kavi, it took 5 years of us constantly mentoring and inspiring the students of these schools. The top 12 boys in the first 5 years have been doing well. But after 5 years, we saw the graph change. It was so drastic a change that we started to see the top 12, we started to select top 20 students. 12 from the village of Dhamal and 5 and 5 from the Balajapet schools. We noticed from boys, the graph was changing towards the girls. So the impact of our motivation was so tremendous and such phenomenal impact on the girls. The girls started to overtake the boys in the scores. And in the 8th year, we saw the top 20 were girls, and the boys were nowhere to be seen. I still remember my brother, my eldest brother, Dr. Naresh Kumar, saying, hey, where are you boys? You got to study well. You've got to become somebody in life. You can't just give that away to the girls. While we want the girls to do very well, don't be lost in the array. Today, girls are very driven. They're motivated, and their energy is huge. And I'm going to say, today we see a higher percentage of girls, from literally girls not going and writing their exams. We had only 20% of people who are writing the exams in the whole school. 100% writing exams in the 5th year. By the 8th year, we had 100% of the top candidates of our scholarships were all girls. So today we have to motivate the boys to say, please study well, be there. Girls are doing remarkably well. And we do have IAS officers. We do have people working in Tamil Nadu Petro Products, in the oil company, and in political array. And like I said, in Indian administrative service, I think we have one student who's aspiring to be in the IFS, Indian Foreign Service. Trust me, it gives us such joy.
Mala, there's so many ways to describe your courage, your persuasion, how you can literally, I think your brother told me, you can twist people's mind. He finally said that you can change people's mind. The skill of marketing and persuasion, your leadership qualities, how you compartmentalize as a boss, as a sister, as a friend, your generosity. But about everything else, it's the person, the loving person you are, who shows up from a birthday to a baby shower to a house party, always ready to talk, even to counsel on personal stuff to so many people. Give your time. Definitely a phenomenal, incredible woman. I'm sure all of our fans and followers and viewers have so much to learn from you and follow from you.
I'm going to say thank you for this beautiful opportunity, Kavipriya, for expressing my highs, my lows, and sharing a lot of our life. It's a lot of my personal life today that we have shared, which most people do not know. And thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And the one thing that I would tell women, youngsters is be driven, work hard. And like my father beautifully said, my greatest mentor, work smart. And that's
smart. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mala. Thank you so much for your time, the valuable lessons from life. Work hard, work smart, perseverance, grit, courage, and a never-ending love, true, genuine love for people. Well, friends, that is Mala Raj, and we are so delighted you could join us today to learn about the incredible, phenomenal Mala Raj. Thank you so much, and tune in again to watch the next episode of Open Captions. Thank you.
Thank you, Kavipriya, and thank you and congratulations to our good friend who's launched Spring Nectar TV, Dr. Rose Muralikrishnan.
Absolutely.
And 5 years from now, I hope I can be on your anniversary program, Kavipriya. Thank you for the opportunity.
Join us next week for more exciting content. Like and follow us on Spring Nectar TV on Facebook and Instagram. I look forward to seeing you all next week, same time, same day. Until then, signing off, yours truly, Kavipriya.